Howdy lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Wawa Crafting, where we learn, grow and craft together. In this very last of the Christmas themed craft sessions, we are going to make a last minute Christmas card. On the desk, I'll rather not show you, are an array of unfinished little projects here and there and all kinds at this point, and I'm just going through the little bitties that's left after all the Christmas creations and maybe putting this together to make the last minute card. Let's dive right into it. As you know by now, I normally use, when I have little strips, you will recognize some of this, and I fold my own cards. I told you that before. This is kind of a thicker cardstock that I'm going to use for today's, and we will then just decorate the front. This is literally that last little bits that's lying around. All kinds of little pieces that's here. Let's see what we can do with these scraps. Now, you will recognize some of these. As I said, I kind of like this. I've used some of this before in the previous cards. If you followed me, I kind of like these little, I like this one. I really, truly like that one quite a lot. Now, I'm going to do something with these pieces just to decorate the back, and we can even make this a smaller card if you so wish, but then you won't see as much of the strips. But let's see what we come up with. So I'm thinking of just adding a few strips, but I need to cut 2, maybe 3 2-centimeter wide strips from this darker green, just to incorporate that as well. And yes, it's literally the last little bit of that. So I'm going to cut a third one, just using the grit lines on the mat for that. Put this to one side. Close that, as you already know what happened the previous time. Well, some time ago already, now months already, I guess, where I sliced open my thumb on camera. That was kind of fun, but anyway, I meant that in a sarcastic way. So for this, I'm thinking that will be a little bit too short, but let's do it at a diagonal. Let's do it at a diagonal. And let's see where this is taking us. Yes, you can use whatever glue you want. And if the ends are lifting up, it's okay. We will get that sorted. We must just not get glue all over our project. I'll do that one, and then we can just trim it off. And I will smear a bit up there, and then maybe one of these. And if you have a glue book, you can use that to glue on. You can use liquid glue, whatever glue you prefer. I just want to make sure that it covers that area. We can trim this down a little bit. I'll be using some of this again, maybe at the bottom of this project. Just trim that off. Just be mindful not to cut your card. You don't want to shorten that at this point in time. So with these ones, we can maybe leave that for a moment. We might use it at the end. So there's a little bitty that is a bit wonky, but you won't see that tiny little bit there. I must just be careful now not to get any glue on the card, but you know my trick. I just erase it with the normal pencil eraser while the glue is still wet, and even for that on the cutting mat. So let's go with this one. We'll use this part now. See, that's why I don't want to cut off the parts. We can use it easily still, but in there, and let's glue these strips down. In a minute or so, I will do the rest off camera, so that you know the drill by now. I don't bore you stuff, because I do not think any of you don't know how to actually glue down strips of paper. I do believe you know exactly how to do that. These tiny little bits, you can add that to a masterboard I would love to get a piece of that in there, just for the festive sake of it. I want to see how far to go from that end. So let's see. And then after this, I will glue the rest on off camera so that we can get done quicker. There we go. I will just trim this and then I will continue off camera. I'll turn this over so I can see the back of that, and we will complete this off camera. I did say I will finish the rest off camera, but I want to show you. This was one of the strips that we had cut earlier, which was that part there, and this is now fitting in perfectly well at the bottom there, and it looks as if it was cut for that part all along. And that's why I don't throw away any of these tiny bits, because you never know when you need that to complete a project. This one might need a bit of glue still, but it's fine. We can just trim that, and then that last bitty will then be, there can be all kinds of pieces. I'm not going to bother with that. I will take this one, and just be mindful your fingers will now be full of glue if you do it like I do. And let's just add that there with a big lump of glue that side. Work that off, and then we have that sorted. Just trim this, and then our base is covered. It looks as if I have extra cardstock here. I will just trim the edge in a little bit, and I just put some glue on my card. Luckily it's not dry yet, so we can erase that. So there we have it, some TLC on the edges. Just make sure everything is adhering well. If not, just add a bit of glue there and have that sorted. I'll first do the green one, because this polka dotty one is lifting up, so we will add some glue in there and just check all the edges. And the same on the other side. Just make sure it's glued down properly. So there's the base of the card. All done, just with strips of scrap paper. I won't throw that away. We're working on diminishing the scrap bin. So our card is done. Remember, paper don't have memory, so if it's curling up because the glue is still drying, you can just manipulate it and it should go flat. If, like you see, you've got glue blotches at the back, just rub it as quick as possible, then you know that it is sorted. Now let's do this one. It's just paper, like you know already, used for some tags and lucky packets earlier, which is like great stocking fillers. I like that, but I like to bring in a bit of what, dark green, or would it be red? What do we want? Already there is red. Let's see. I just want to see. It will cover most of it if we do it that way. I think what we need to do is just glue it down as it is, but we need a little bit of the frame. So, and of course we need a sentiment, and I see there's a bit lifting up there. Let me just fix that as well. There we go. I need a bit of a dimension. I think that's what I will do. I'm going to cut this out, fuzzy cut in other words. And remember, when we fuzzy cut, we actually move the paper and it is a loose. Now you can cut it as close to the edge as you want. I'm going to leave a tiny bit of white space there. Not much. You can cut it out completely if you so wish. I kind of like that white edge but not too much of it. Literally just a tiny slather of white. Some things really cut out quicker, much quicker than other things, and sometimes it takes a bit longer for you to cut other things out. I don't think we had fuzzy cut any of these yet, and these are literally left from some tags and those little stocking fillers. Just brown paper bags filled with some candy, lollipops, and tiny little toys. What some people would refer to both as the dollar shop. Yeah, it's not called a dollar shop. So I think that looks a whole lot better. I kind of like that. I'm going to adhere it like this because of the angle of the stripes. So let's get a sentiment going for this card. And yes, you guessed it, I would also stamp the little sentiment on scrap cardstock. So inking up this little stamp to wish you. Let's do this. And just lining this up just for myself. And you can see I have added this, giving myself some space to trim it if I so wish, as I don't know yet. And there we have that one. So I'll just turn it around so that I can see the edge of it, see how far this is, line it up with that. Yeah, let's do it there, then we can trim the top as well. That part, and then this part too. I need to just trim that part as well. Not too much, just about there. And then we can trim the end. Line that up. If you had a paper trimmer, you could have trimmed it like that. I like to do it from this side. Then I can gauge how far that is from there. So it's about that from the end. Just lining it up so that it is straight, because right now I almost trimmed it skew. And for this one, I'm not going to use an ink blending tool, just using the ink pad straight on the card. And this is Distress Oxide ink in Lumberjack Plate. Maybe a tiny little bit from each side. And we'll just ink the ends again, just to get that, just a tiny little bit off there. There we go, I like that. And this one here. All right, let's glue this down. And sorry, I was probably a bit out of view there. And yes, you can use liquid glue. You can use whatever glue you prefer. And there we have a very simple Christmas card that used up some of the scraps. Now a little sentiment on the inside, and I'll use the very same stamp set. Going to open that up and just grab one of these others. Let's see. did that one. Also in red. I just want to make sure it's clean. And put the stamp back to the stamp. Tap, tap, tap. And all kinds of directions. And lift. There we have it. The last of our Christmas cards. Thank you for joining me today. I really hope that you enjoyed the last couple of days on my channel with the Christmas cards, the gift card holders, and the Christmas project. I call it the Christmas project, the Friday series. I want to make use of this opportunity as well to wish you all a wonderful Christmas. For those celebrating, may the spirit of the season fill your heart with joy and warmth and happiness. For those of you that are alone, reach out, send a message. We can cheer one another up. We are in this all together. We are in this. Thank you for a wonderful year. This also is, I can almost call it the birthday of my YouTube channel. It's just over a year now that I've started. I want to thank each and every one of you that have walked this journey with me, that has been here from the start, that encouraged me, that spurred me on. And in those moments that I started doubting, you were there to cheer me on and say, go for it, do it, do what you want to do. And as my dear friend always say, you do you, boo, you do you. Merry Christmas, one and all. I also want to announce that I will be taking a little bit of a break, and we'll see you back in the new year. Take care now, everybody, and see you in the new year. Goodbye.